So I don't want to frighten you, I don't want to make you anxious, but I do want you to be aware. In my estimation, we have 6 months remaining before something really, really bad happens in London due to this war, and so that's the topic of today's video. Let's have a look. Welcome back, ladies, gents, and Pikachus. Another quick update on the Israel-Palestine situation. How it's going to impact us. We don't really care if it doesn't impact us. That's what I've learned about pretty much everyone in the world. They'll give a big pipe up on Facebook or whatever and say, it's terrible. But they won't actually do anything. They'll just add to the argument. They'll add to the negativity. But when it comes to doing anything positive and offering a solution, they're nowhere to be fucking found. That's what we're going to look at today. If we're not looking for a solution, not talking about how to fix things, then what are we talking about? So let's start with the propaganda effort. This whole thing against Israel and also against Palestine. I'm not going to say against Hamas. They deserve all the criticism they get. They are literally Black Death cultists who want to see all white people dead. Like, they even say that. They have videos that they've released. You can translate yourself where they physically say that that's their plan. Jews first, Christians next, then white people. But the Western media won't touch this. They won't go anywhere near it. There's many reasons for that, but nevertheless, you should have known that, or you should have seen that somewhere. And the reason it's important is because if you're being dogmatized into hating one of these groups, then presumably it's by the enemy of that group. Like when my mum said to me, all Jews are evil, you're an evil Jew, all evil Jews should die, all Jews should fuck off and die, in a rage. She didn't mean it, but she said that to me in a rage. Someone's put that into her head to say that. And my money is on Hamas militant supporters, because that's exactly what they believe. There's no one else in the world that believes that. I've never ever met a single person who actually in their heart believes all Jews should die. Just unequivocally, you know, babies and whatever. I don't know anyone, I've never met anyone who believes that. Hamas believe that. And the supporters of Hamas, even though they might not believe that, they're supporting that belief, whether they like it or not. Every time they say something against Israel because they were fired up by Hamas media, or one of these new spring-up channels on YouTube with millions of people subscribing to it, wonder how that's happened. Yeah, those guys spreading the propaganda. Every time you listen to them, it's a problem. So, back to the events of this country. It's my express belief that in the spring of next year, in Edmonton, Camden, these kind of places, central London, Soho, there's going to be riots, there's going to be massive protests, not from us, it's going to be protests from Shia fundamentalist supporters of Hamas in London. These guys are rich and they've all retired, they live in London in luxury and wealth, you know. And they were setting off fireworks when they heard that Israel had been declared war on by Syria and Iran. Well, not Iran, no, just Syria. But I don't even know if that's true. It was on one of these Hamas propaganda channels, so I don't know whether they're just saying that to create a fervour, to get people in the mood for it, whether it's actually true. But I do know this. The hospital never got bombed by Israel. It got hit with a rocket from an Islamic Jihad person. You know, even the Hamas people have denied that it's anything to do with them. They're saying this guy's just a weird random jihadi on his own. But nevertheless, it was a Palestinian rocket, a Palestinian soldier, a terrorist that did that, and nobody got killed. Like, even I made that mistake. So many people reported so many false death figures. I kind of figured out on my own what I thought it might be and said it's probably nearer this, 120. It wasn't. There was none. There was no casualties recorded in that rocket strike, which was, by the way, not Israel. So it's obviously rather dismaying for me when I look on my YouTube feed and I watch the first 3 videos that come up, and each one of them has made a 20-minute well-produced content piece that a lot of people will watch based on the supposition that Israel bombed a hospital and killed hundreds of children. What are you supposed to do about that? If you're an Israel resident, or if you're just a supporter of freedom and you've been backing against Hamas, that is propaganda so that you can shut up and go away. You're not relevant, go away, get rid of you. And it's... I'm trying to tell people, these tactics are not Hamas tactics, they're new to Hamas. Someone has been training the Hamas troops, unbeknown to everyone, over the last 6 months or however long. I've already said I think it's Prigozhin. He didn't die in a plane crash, I never believed that. I said at the time, Prigozhin went over to China and met up with some people, ended up in Palestine, training these guys to do that October 7th attack. I always do that, I'm so sorry about not silencing my phone. So yeah, these guys are getting training and money and weapons through China, through Iran, paid for by China. And the people here don't know that. They think this is like Israel were just horrible, evil people and they're just bombing children for no reason. And it's like, come on, think about it. Imagine if, like, England fell out with France and one of their hospitals blew up. If someone said, oh, the British military purposely targeted a hospital to kill children, I wouldn't believe it. I've never known the English military or the British military to do that, ever. I just wouldn't believe it straight away, because I know it's not their MO. That's not how their strategy works. They've got a long-term strategy designed to keep their soldiers safe, not to make their soldiers a target for Islamics. And that's exactly what that would do, exactly like it's done with Israel. So, coming up to 6 minutes now, I think I've said enough on this topic. And yeah, just think about it. I'm going to be making more videos as things progress. But the main things to remember, the conclusions are this. The propaganda war is on the go. The Dirty Chicks campaign is on the go. And everyone's affected by it. BBC is one of the main offenders. Do not believe a single word that comes out of the BBC. Channel 4, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. It's because they're republishing from the BBC. So don't believe those bits if it's got a little BBC logo in the bottom. And there's, I can't even name them, there's millions and millions of these things. So you just have to fact check everything, ladies, gents and Pikachus. That's the conclusion of that. Number 2, the spring terrorist attack that I'm speculating might happen in Edmonton, Camden, Central London, Soho kind of area next year can be avoided. It can be avoided, but we have to work it out now. We don't have any time left. So let's not get distracted by Tyson Fury fighting Francis Ngannou or the Riyadh season, the football, you know, the Champions League. Like, cool, watch those things, I will too. But let's not ever forget our country is at risk and it's on our heads. If we leave it to the government or someone else and it doesn't get done, it's our roof that's going to come crashing down upon our heads and the heads of our loved ones. So keep that in mind, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now. Tell you what, a great sign of the times though, isn't it? Had I said this a year ago, I'd have been called a conspiracy theorist nutcase and a general psychotic maniac who was wrong. But who thinks it's wrong today? See you next time, guys.